and welcome to my channel. I'm new here, and if this is your first video you're watching of mine, you must be new here too. Today I'm going to be speaking on a topic near and dear to me called people's stupidity. Surely enough, I can hear you thinking, Jaye, there are stupid people everywhere. What do you mean talk about stupid? All people are stupid. You're probably not actually thinking that, more along the lines of, Jesus Christ, you dirt-covered pothole, get to the point. And I am. Calm down. This is some of the stuff that I've heard people say near to and around me that... just wait and see. Nonetheless, let's just continue. I used to have this friend that I made back in year 10 who was actually pretty nice for the first bit of the year. We actually got really close, though I'm not really friends with her anymore. My mum and I had to drive her back from an amusement park we went to because she couldn't drive herself and I couldn't drive and her ride wasn't there yet, so naturally, in a desperate attempt to be a nice person, we got in the car and asked her where she lived because neither my mum and I knew it. She lived farther away from me, more into the city than I did, so I never really went over to her house. This girl, she dead ass looked up at me, then at my mum and proceeded to say the following words. I have to call my mum to find out my address. Are you shitting me? And don't go off saying, oh, I forget my addresses all the time, because that was not the case. She called her mum and her mum laughed at her. Of course, she did end up getting her address and we did end up driving her home, but honestly, what kind of kid doesn't know their address? Well, let me rephrase that. What kid, referring to someone with common sense, doesn't know their address? The next person isn't exactly stupid, but she and I have band class together, and frankly, I absolutely love that class. Band has been one of the classes that I actually enjoy throughout the school year because it doesn't have to do with circles or numbers and letters and phonetics. I don't care for that shit, but I could do without this one person. This one single person. Frankly, she's managed to ruin the whole class for me, which I know I shouldn't let it get to me, but it gets to me anyways because I don't really have control of that. Well, I was sitting with some of my friends, deep in conversation, talking about shit like vacation plans, and this bitch comes right up to my group and just joins in and cuts off every single conversation to start hers about musicals. Now, I don't have anything against musicals, just against this person. And it may seem like I'm over-exaggerating, like, oh, you're just making too big of a deal over this. Maybe she didn't know you were in a conversation. Of course, she knew we were in a conversation. There are 14 kids in the damn band, so practically all the other two groups could hear us talking. Now, that might be rude of her, but not necessarily stupid. Though, one of the things that she does that I find really stupid is that she glorifies mental illnesses. No shit. She will make up excuses about why she gets to talk about certain things or why she acts a certain way. If you think I'm kidding, I literally have a list somewhere of all the problems on it, because girl and I were friends at some point too. Imagine that. It says stuff like bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, depression, horrid anxiety disorders, obsessive compulsive disorder, dysphoria, ADHD, PTSD, insomnia, and I think if the list goes on anymore, I'm going to pass out. Now, if a person exists that really has all these problems, I'm going to applaud them for their living situation and praise them for how well they've done in today's society. But I know for a fact this girl does not have these problems. Mostly because she tries to flaunt them as much as humanly possible to get as much attention as possible. In fact, people with depression more than likely tend to keep things discreet, and if they're seeking help, then good for them, that's their issue, and they're trying the best they can to deal with it. But when people like this girl glorify mental illnesses just for the attention to give herself the special treatment, I think that's where it crosses a line. Not to mention that she was dating one of my other friends, who's actually still my friend today, and didn't think it was cheating when her other personalities that she didn't consider herself went off dating other girls and guys. He eventually ended things with her to get out of their relationship because frankly he had enough and couldn't deal with her bullshit anymore. The last person I'm going to be talking about is my cousin, who I don't really talk to that much. But when I do, he's actually a pretty cool person. My cousin isn't exactly the smartest person. He's a year younger than myself and definitely the type to be considered street smart more than book smart. Personally, I don't consider myself street smart because I don't really pay attention to social media. Really, the most popular meme I've seen nowadays is Despacito to me. Funny enough, I don't get out that much either. You know, if you couldn't guess that. Maybe lay on the couch for a couple hours, staring at my ceiling and having an existential crisis, but that's not the point. Nonetheless, like I said, my cousin is a nice person that I keep in contact with, but what he makes up for in street smarts, he lacks in academic achievements. I remember he and I were at a camp together, and we were talking about geography. One of the first things I said was, "Do you know where Greece is?" Of course, I was just joking with him, but he thought that it was some kind of false underwater island. He then proceeded to tell me that he thought I meant history and not geography, because those two are somehow the same thing. So once again, as a joke, I asked him where Hitler was born. He then smiles, turns to me and says, "Oh, I know this one. It's Germany." Now, this may come as a shock to you all who think Hitler was born in Germany, but he was actually born in Austria, which is not Germany. Now, my cousin and I are still friends, but sometimes I can't help myself but to just question him and my existence. Now, I won't complete this video without saying one thing. Yes, I have done stupid things in my life, like the time when I was 4 or 5 and asked if I had been hatched from an egg, or when I was around 6 and I tried to eat a coin. Though, keep in mind that I was younger. I grew up with a lot of pressure on academics, and I realized that some people, possibly the people that I mentioned, didn't. But that doesn't excuse you for not knowing your address or glorifying something that is a real issue that people deal with. Nonetheless, that's all I really planned for this video, so I want to thank you for watching, and leave a comment and a like if you want to see more of this, and hopefully I'll be back. Thanks for watching, and bye!